Growing up among the lush green environment and chirping sparrows, I have never even imagined that I would be speaking for their conservation. Because as a child, I was unaware of what climate change is. But the pandemic has acted as an eye opener for me. During the lockdown, youth energy was devoted to social problems and solutions and gave birth to many organizations. One such organization is Lives for Literacy. It started as a global youth that grassroots movement, and now it is an international Canadian based non-profit organization. Who says that volunteers never pays off? Volunteering not only brings the change in an individual, but also a revolution in the whole community. Started as a volunteer, I am now the director of community engagement. We focus on education, mental health, and human rights with a special emphasis on BIPOC and LGBTQIA plus communities. We have volunteers from more than 50 nations who participate in capacity building workshops and open daily projects. Our motto is empowering humans. But you might be wondering how human rights are related to climate change. We often talk about climate education when it comes to positive approach. But the time has changed now. We have become so materialistic and self-centered that we pay heed only to those things which are related to our rights. Right to life and health are our human rights. But the dilemma is that what to do when one's rights are violated by oneself. At one time, we talk about restoration, revival, renaissance, etc. But at the other time, we act towards euthanasia and extinction. To understand it better, let's see what Frankie, the dinosaur, has a message for humanity. Can we have the video, please?
Listen up, people. I know a thing or two about extinction. And let me tell you, and you kind of think this would be obvious, going extinct is a bad thing. And driving yourselves extinct in 70 million years, that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. At least we had an asteroid. What's your excuse? You're headed for a climate disaster. And yet every year, governments spend hundreds of billions of public funds on fossil fuel subsidies. Imagine if we had spent hundreds of billions per year subsidizing giant meteors. That's what you're doing right now. Think of all the other things you could do with that money. Around the world, people are living in. Helping them would make more sense than, I don't know, paying for the demise of your entire species. Let me be real for a second. You've got a huge opportunity right now as you rebuild your economies and bounce back from this pandemic. This is humanity's big chance. So here's my wild idea. Don't choose extinction. Save your species before it's too late. Stop making excuses and start making changes. Thank you.
So now you have understood that we have two options. The first one is extinction and the second one is renaissance. It's only up to us what to choose. You must be curious to know about my younger journey. So I like to participate in various model United Nations conferences. In one of the MUNs, I met Disha Sarkar, who is a member of Action for Climate Empowerment Group of Yango. There I came to know about it, and all my contributions made me its member. Yango is the official children and youth constituency of the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. It is not just an organization rather a platform and a network of children and youth up to 35 years, as well as youth non-governmental organization. Formally recognized in 2009, we serve as an official value of young people from across the globe in climate negotiations under the UN climate change. We aim to empower children and youth around the globe to take action and be the drivers of meaningful, impactful, and positive change by raising awareness, sharing knowledge, building capacity, and advocating for pragmatic and ambitious climate change and environmental policies, and mobilizing for youth actions to achieve a livable and just future. We have tried to incorporate every aspect, be it policy making, underrepresented groups, energy, climate finance, loss and damage, food and agriculture, sustainable cities, mobility and transportation, health, climate justice and human rights, sustainable production and consumption, water, sanitation and oceans, wildlife and environment conservation, technology transfer and innovation, or arts, culture, and heritage. We implore decision makers to take decisive and bold actions now that ensure nobody is left behind. We urged all national governments and international institutions to legally acknowledge the basic rights of climate migrants so that they should be treated as the legitimate asylum seekers, even if they relocate to another place within the same country or are internationally displaced. We also urge them to recognize the rights of indigenous people. We strongly condemn the schemes and projects that incentivize deforestation and promote land grabbing, depriving indigenous people of their livelihoods and heritage, and call for their reconsideration. We demanded the inclusion and active participation of indigenous people in decision making processes. If you want to read our demands, please visit the official website, that is ukcoy16.org. If you want to engage with Lives for Literacy or Youngo, feel free to approach me. But remember that if you are passionate about environment, you are enough to bring change. The community will itself inspired by you, and then you can form your own non-profit organization. Give meaning to your life. Try to engage with at least one organization. You are the future leaders. Before leading others, lead your own actions in positive way. It's high time to show solidarity. We can't make any excuse. If you are an individual, collaborate with other like-minded climate activists. If you represent an organization, collaborate with other partners. Climate change knows no boundaries, and so are restoration efforts. Speed up your actions. Start with small things like saving water, fossil fuels, energy, etc., at an individual level, and endeavor to reach the peak at global level. If I talk about the climate equation, population into consumption into nil emission gives happy planet. If we lower down the population to zero, the planet will be empty. And if we lower down the consumption to zero, human beings will be starving. So the best solution is to lower down emission. But even then, the temperature will continue to rise because of existing emissions. Therefore, the need of the hour is quick, effective efforts at large scale, not limiting to afforestation, mitigation, or adoption. I believe that together we can and we will. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jigyasa. And as you rightly mentioned, together we can, we will, and the time is now. As you rightly mentioned, it's now or never. Why? Because consciously or unconsciously, whether we wanted it or not, COVID has impacted our lives in multiple ways. So our consumption rate decreased. We are conscious about what we need to purchase, and multiple other things. Gradually, as things are easing, it's time to decide the lifestyle choices that we want to go ahead. And absolutely right that you said that things has to happen on scale. And one appeal to all the group members and participants is that right now the schools are gradually opening up, colleges are gradually opening up. So if we can initiate this environment chapters in schools and colleges, that will go a long way. Post COVID, the time is right, and once we are regrouping and beginning our journey back to the normalcy, there has to be some course corrections that each of us has to take at every level, and let's all together play our part so that that institutional change will go a long way in establishing the behavior patterns. Thank you so much, Jigyasa. And also, this painting that we can see is the painting done by her. She is a wonderful painter, and she uses that skill as a tool for awareness, creating awareness. And a couple of her paintings got that recognition at the international level too. And I think I can share a few. Yeah, yeah. This is one of her painting that she did. Thank you, Jigyasa.